There is a very easy way for you to be able to rank up out of the lower ranks of Rocket League. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but pretty much at the diamond rank and below, players very much struggle to actually be able to beat their opponents. If you delve deeper into this level of gameplay, you'll actually notice that most of the goals that are given up are from players simply beating themselves. So in today's video, we'll be discussing what you can do to limit the mistakes that lead to free goals, while still keeping you in position to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. And real quick before we do get started, if you guys are interested in having one of your own replays analyzed, make sure you do check out my Discord, which is linked down in the description, as I do offer free coaching through there.
I'm gonna watch this whole sequence because I think you're gonna get scored on here, and then we're gonna talk about this whole thing. Yeah, it kind of all goes horribly wrong. Ideally, as first men, we want to limit our aggressive challenges as much as possible. And what I mean by that is the more we can just force him to do something by staying on the ground, the better. Because what that means is if we just stay on the ground and we force him to somehow lose control of the ball, so either we force him to like flick it, we force him to just bang it out, that means that our teammate who's waiting behind us now can come into the play, and we can just stay on the ground and rotate directly back and reestablish our rotation. The problem when you jump is now if the ball gets past you, you're now landing somewhere and have to recover back, and all that time that you're landing and recovering back, your teammate is kind of left just in a buy time mode because he has to wait for you to get back before he can really confidently challenge the ball. So as first man, keep your wheels on the ground as much as possible, unless you're like 100% confident that you have a clean win on the ball. You very rarely want to throw yourself at stuff as first man, especially when there was really absolutely no reason to. Because watch this now, if you had stayed on the ground, well, you'd be right here. Because at the end of the day, like, you have to realize, like, is there anything dangerous if we just let him flick that ball past us? No. Realistically, he's probably just giving the ball away. So let him do that. Like, if he wants to just give the ball away, let him do it. You want to be there to cover if he tries to control it. Like, this is the play we want to cover, not the boom of a clear. Like, that's our teammate's responsibility, not ours. And then this is just all kinds of awkward. So let's talk slightly higher level skill here. So we're gonna imagine that we just did the smart thing here and didn't jump, because this entire play kind of goes to crap once we jump. Unfortunately, because you're kind of caught reacting and you're in a really bad spot at that point. So let's just say you didn't jump. And let's just say that somehow magically you didn't get a challenge right here. Who is to say why? But you probably still steal the boost. So you steal the boost, great, whatever. Maybe you still end up roughly where you are. Cool, but you have 100 boost, that guy does not. Alright, so now we're going back downfield. Our teammate's already over there, so we don't want to go that way. Teammate's already got that spot covered. So instead of that, let's go back across the field. Because then we can cover a possible pass into the midfield while our teammate covers the shot back. And while you're starting to rotate back, you can kind of see where your teammate goes. As soon as you see your teammate turn back towards the net, that's like, okay, cool. So now we go away from our teammate. So maybe we're like, I don't know, somewhere around... We're roughly where this guy is, so we'd probably be, I don't know, around here. And now as we're going back, we're just waiting. This isn't, you know, too crazy yet. We'll wait to see what he does. As soon as that guy flips, higher level skill, we jump. And the reason we jump is because we do not want to allow that, by any stretch of the imagination. As long as we know that our teammate is the one defending the net, we want to cut out this space. Because then, much like with what we talked about with forcing the opponent to do something, if we jump here and cut off this angle, that now limits what they can go for. Because if we get a touch on the ball, or if we're just in the way, they can't get a clean touch anymore. But this is all reliant on knowing where your teammate is and knowing what your responsibility is in the play. So generally, this is exactly how we want to defend aerial plays on defense. We want to have one player able to jump early to cut off any pass, any air dribble, just generally make their lives of controlling the ball very, very difficult. At the high level, you will see players, when they have both defenders back, jumping super early for the ball. Even if they don't get a touch, their only job is to get the player controlling the ball off of it. Which is all we'd want to do here. Like, we can just jump up, and even if we don't get a touch, we just force these guys to be super awkward. That allows our teammate to also be very well aware that his only responsibility is defend the net. The problem we're going to run into is you stay on the ground all this time. So now your teammate's sitting back here. Number one, he's trying to figure out where the heck the ball's going. Number two, while he's doing that, he also kind of has you out of the corner of his eye, driving roughly back in his general direction. So now he's not sure if you're going to go ahead and go for this ball, or if he needs to. And even though he should very easily have this save, if he even has to think for a second that you're going to do something weird, he loses just a bit of concentration on the ball, and it can cause things like this. Because if he just thought for a second, oh, what's my teammate doing? Oh, the ball's coming, and then he jumps, and then he's panicking. Much better to make it very clear and obvious what his responsibility is early, and then he can just focus on that the entire time. As opposed to seeing you here now, and being like, I wonder what's going on, and the ball's coming. And then he panics. So yeah, try to make things clear, try to make things obvious. As you rotate back, if you're not gonna jump in that position, which I do, again, recommend that you do, at least apply that pressure. If you're not gonna jump, we still wanna go this way. Like, this is still fine. We still wanna be, like, roughly over here. Like, okay, we're not gonna jump, that's fine. We still wanna make it very obvious that we are not the ones that are going to be challenging this ball. So just keep on going this way. All the way out wide. Let your teammate be aware that this is his save. Like, alright, we'd be, like, out here, sure. And then, if we were positioned, like, right here, then if teammate misses, we're right here. Easy save. No problem. But instead, we're directly under the ball because we just kind of traced it the whole way down the field without any indication of jumping. And it meant that it's just bouncing over our head and we have no angle to actually play it from. So if you're not comfortable jumping, which is totally fine, at the Diamond Rank League, it is okay if you don't feel comfortable jumping, although I would encourage you to start experimenting with it. If you're not comfortable, though, give yourself that wide angle. Give your teammate as much information as possible about what you're planning on doing. And then, should he make a mistake, be in a spot to cover for him. Alright, what's the thought process here as well? What do we think? Why are we cutting across the field like this?
Yeah, at this point, I got tunnel vision and I've seen the ball in the air.
Ah, yes, classic. When you see plays like this, your immediate recognition needs to be, is my teammate in a position to make a play? If they are, let them do it. Because the only way this guy can really score from this position, especially with you getting back, is if you guys double commit. Because the only way this really becomes dangerous is if you both double commit and you both miss. If one of you's back to support the other one, then it's totally fine, because you have two challenges, one right after another, and it's very, very difficult to beat that, especially with the quality of this air dribble that's about to come out. Yeah, it's not great. He did get one touch, which is, not bad, but the worst thing that can happen right here, and luckily Salty has put himself in, like, the worst position ever, but the worst thing that could possibly happen is Salty was slightly smarter and was positioned, like, back here. This guy lands on the ground and the ball just, like, pops directly back off his head into the backboard. Boom, boom, out of the play, free net. Like, that's nightmare scenario, but the only way that's even possible is if you're both here. If you just recognized he's there, then you just go behind him and you're chilling. So just be aware of your teammate. It's going to make a huge difference. Let him handle what he's in position to handle. Don't jump in on his plays. It's just going to put you in awkward spots. So, the main issue is going to be this. Like, being in this position here. So, whenever we're in a spot like this, the fact of the matter is, from here, we're pretty much useless. Because if our teammate wins the ball and it lands like here, we have to work so hard to get back around to it, as we're going to see. We're also pretty useless if this guy wins the ball past our teammate, because we're, just chilling here and have to go all the way back. So we want to avoid ending up in spots like this. So then let's see, how did we get there? All right, well, that'll answer our question as to why we were in such an awkward spot. And the answer is because we are booking it upfield at an insane pace. So we land. This ball is clearly going into the opponent's corner. All right, cool. So we flip forward, once. This is fine. If you had just landed and had just driven normally, you'd be totally fine. Because if you land and you just, drive normally, like at a nice slow pace, keep an eye on anyone who's behind you, make sure you don't get bumped, because that guy is there. But if you were now, just chilling out here, we're going to settle right around here at a nice, even pace, because now we'd still be here. And look at this. Perfect. So doesn't realize, like, if there's no real reason to sprint up the field, we don't need to get here super fast. It's okay to be in a spot where you might not be able to capitalize on every, like, half chance that pops out. But you want to be able to give yourself the best chance to cover as many options as possible. And from here, you have the shot. You have a clear to the left, clear to the right. You got everything covered from here. Clear back, sure. From up here, you got, like, nothing. You got the ball landing, like, in this area. Luckily, that's what happened, but that's the only thing you really had going for you. So just be careful of that. It is okay to move slower up the field to be able to time your arrival on balls to actually be able to have an impact on the play. Also, just shoot this. That net is wide open. Salty has decided that now is the perfect time to go look for boost. He is determined that this ball is not threatening at all, so he is going to go get boost. Just shoot it. Punish that. Do not allow them to get boost for free like that. I think, again, this is just about identifying the situation. And at diamond, it's pretty tough because you're probably looking here, not anywhere over here. As you're coming up off the wall here, diagnose where this guy is. Figure out what he's doing. Like, all I need to do is glance down and see that he's pointing forward, and I'm like, yeah, that's a goal. Or at least an attempt. Like, you might miss it. Like, sure, this is not the easiest angle on the face of the planet. Like, you very easily could hit the post or something else, but we want to make sure our idea is correct. So yeah, if you see an open net, don't try to do too much with the ball. Just take what's given. If they want to give you an open net, just take it. I remember, this is pain. Ouch. I'm going to assume this is not the touch you wanted.
I was going to catch it, and then I realized, yeah, I'm so behind on this. And I was like, well, I'm committed. That's a big issue I have, is once I'm committed to a ball, I'm just going to touch it. It's a really bad habit.
I think you just need to not panic at this early. And this again goes back to looking at the opponents. And I know this is hard because the ball is floating here. You just saw your teammate go flying past and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get to this ball because someone's going to be here. Reality, he's going to get boost. He's nowhere near the ball. And you just gotta be aware of it. If you're aware of your opponent in this instance, like as soon as your teammate misses, you're still in the air. If you see the miss and immediately look down to see where that opponent is, you would know. Like you can already tell, like he is not playing this ball. So you don't even need to even try to catch it yet. Like just let this thing bounce. It's totally fine. Because obviously if you just recognize that little bit of space, you would not, do this. So just be aware of the opponent. That's the big difference there. All right, this is a common occurrence. Don't jump for this. I know it looks tempting. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You have a 1-goal lead. You're not desperate for a goal. Your teammate is in the air here. He's not going to recover quickly. The last thing you want to do is throw yourself at a ball that's not guaranteed, and have it be a counterattack. And I think you jump because you don't know this guy's here. We should probably just assume that that defender is going to be there. Very unlikely, in this whole play, that he wouldn't be there because... yeah, like, he's rotating around. Like, he's got to be back there somewhere. It's just not worth it to send ourselves like that. Luckily, we recover very smoothly, but yeah, just an unnecessary risk. Alright, so you could go a bit faster here if you wanted to. Like, I wouldn't hate if you rushed this thing into the corner just to deny the space from your opponent so he doesn't get boost and ball. Luckily, he realistically doesn't actually get either. Which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, we don't necessarily want to give up that space, especially because we know our teammate will be coming back. Obviously, it's a bit of a risk. I don't hate that you wait either. When you decide you're going to go for this, just actually go, though. You're going to do this whole boost pulse thing again, which means you don't ever really get up to supersonic at all. The entire time towards the ball, you never got up to supersonic. If you're going to, once you decide to go, like, just actually commit. Don't do this pulse thing. Like, just use your boost and go to the ball. Not worth it to leisurely try to go at the ball. Also, small pads again here. No reason to autopilot for that mid boost. There's a perfectly fine path of paths right here. One of them is going to get taken by that guy. But, like, this one's here and this one's here. And this would be fine. And then you'd be here. You'd have 24 more boosts than you have. And you'd be in a spot on the field where you can cover anything as opposed to being in the same spot as your teammate. Because now, again, you have to do the circle thing where now you circle back, and now if the ball does pop out, you're nowhere near the play. As opposed to being here where you'd have a bunch of stuff covered. And sure, there's no real opportunity for you to go here. But again, you'd at least be covering a spot on the field that your teammate is not already covering. Because we're kind of just staying in the shadow of our teammate, not really covering anything that he is not already covering. Because then, yeah, this one popping into the midfield would be something that we would have been able to apply pressure on. But instead, we're all the way over here on the sidewall. Not able to apply pressure to our opponent at all. Just because we're not in a good spot in terms of what we can and cannot cover. Same thing with boost usage here. So you land with like 100 and watch what we do with it. So we just burned 70 boost to drive slightly to the left. So you land. Again, this is just all about recognition. Is there a threat here? No, not really. This car's facing over towards the wall over here. So he's not gonna like shoot this. It's not like there's a shot coming, so we don't need to rush that way. Teammate's also landing somewhat over there, so we don't want to commit super hard in that direction. So all right, we're just gonna chill in the midfield then, so there's no reason to use boost as we land. So, you know, just chilling. Great. All right, is this dangerous? Well, no, Salty's still backwards, so I'm not really worried about this either. All right, he's just whiffed. I'm still just sitting right here. Is this dangerous? Yeah, maybe. I'm still playing in this area, so I can save whatever shot happens. Maybe I've, like, swiveled around like this. You know, maybe I'm here instead facing this way. Who knows? But I'm certainly not up here burning boost for no reason. All right, now I see this, and now I turn and use boost. Hey, look, there's 2 more pads, and now I'm already able to cut this off. As opposed to chasing the play. One of the biggest things you need to avoid is chasing the ball around the field. Like, just take a second to look at where the other players are and consider where the ball can theoretically go. If it can't go anywhere dangerous, you don't need to chase after it. Like, read where it's going to go and try to position for the most likely places for it to end up. So if we had just chilled, we could still be chilling. All right, now we go. Just much more effective to utilize our movement to actually get to the ball when it actually presents an opportunity for us to do so, as opposed to using boost and getting super close to the play when we don't have to.
If you want to be able to fix these mistakes and rank up into the higher ranks, the only thing you need to be able to do is understand the situation you find yourself in and be able to react accordingly. Where you get yourself in trouble is if you make a wrong decision based on the position you're in. Of course, thank you everybody so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you're interested in seeing some more Rocket League coaching content, make sure you do consider clicking that subscribe button right down below. As with each and every video, I strive to help you guys get just a little bit better at Rocket League. Additionally, once again, if you're looking for some one-on-one coaching of your own, or perhaps would just like to be a bit more involved in the community we're building here, feel free to join my Discord, which is again linked down in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.